Welcome to the Ambient iPad. Let's make some music. In this video, I'm going to use the drone function of the Roland Aerophone AE-20 wind synth to create some ambient soundscapes. The signal chain is the Roland Aerophone AE-20. Its stereo output goes into a universal audio Volt 276 interface, which communicates back and forth with the iPad Pro through a USB-C hub that also lets me power the iPad Pro at the same time. I'm also using a microphone this time for the voice instead of a lapel mic. That's going into a Focusrite Scarlett 18i8 interface, but I'm not really using it as an interface. I've set it up to use it as a mixer, and then the microphone signal is going straight into the camera. So the universal audio interface, you can just plug that into a wall and use it as a mixer. You don't really need to use anything else. But the Focusrite, you have to connect it to the computer, use the app, and reconfigure the routing in order to use it as a mixer. But it is possible. So yeah, there's a drone function built into the Aerophone. Let me demonstrate that first with some of the patches that it actually comes with, which are more on the ethnic variety, and that's what they call the family of patches on the Aerophone, ethnic. So Uilleann Pipes is one that is using the drone function. So let me first play what the patch sounds like, and then I'll add in the drone. Now let's add in the drone. And once that's going, then I can just play right over it. Just turn off the drone function. One more example, bagpipes. So here's what bagpipes sounds without the drone on. Let's add the drone. I like that little ramp up you get, like real bagpipes. And then you can just solo right over it. So you can set up any patch to have a drone. It's very difficult to use the Aerophone itself to do editing of patches, and I'll show some screenshots now of the app that the Aerophone comes with. Once you're connected to it, you can then go into any patch and edit to your heart's content. You can change the waves that are used, you can change the effects, you can change the envelopes. It's not as full-featured as a normal synthesizer, i.e. with keys or a module. A little more limited on the capabilities that you have. But one of the things you can do is choose a tone to be either a lead, which means it'll play at any time, or a drone. And to be a drone, you have to actually turn the drone function on. So let me show how to do that. In the app here, again, you just click it and you're done. But to turn it on and actually enable it, you have to use the Aerophone itself. So back on the Aerophone, on the back here, there's actually a couple of buttons. So there's a lot of performance buttons and levers on the back here for changing pitch, changing octave. But there's also a couple of buttons here labeled S1 and S2. And you can assign a multitude of functions to that, whether it's, for example, portamento, harmony. The Aerophone supports up to 4 different notes of harmony for playing one note. And then, of course, the drone function. You can also turn effects on and off. There's a whole host of things you can do. So typically what I have a lot of patches set up is that I have the S1 button to do a harmony, one octave down, because there's a lot of sounds where, depending on the notes I'm playing, it's just too high. It just fills out the sound a bit. And then I have S2 set as the drone. And let me go to some of the patches. I've created a number of patches using the drone. I'm just going to demonstrate a couple of those today. One of them is built around string sounds, both real modeled string sounds as well as synth sounds for strings, Juno strings and Jupiter strings, kind of classic Roland synth strings. And then I've got another patch that's just synths. So let's start out with the string patch. I will just play what that lead will sound like over the drone. And now to add in the drone, I have to hold that S2 button while I'm playing notes. I have to press the button first, then I have to play the notes. Then when I let go of the button, the drone will keep going. So it can be a little tricky here, but with some practice, it's not too bad. So let's get a drone going, and then I'll do some leads over that. Now here's similar kind of framework, but with synths instead of strings. So here's the lead sound. Let's get the drone going. All right, so that's a screw up, and that happens. Let's try again. Let me just lower that drone and have it going in the background. So as you can see, you know, they're very cinematic, very kind of great intros for maybe a different kind of piece. Makes sense a lot for those ethnic instruments where you do have a real drone, but there's no reason why you can't create any artificial instruments or synths doing the same thing as well. Now, it is a bit limited in that I can't change the drone without turning it off, which is really abrupt. I can't change any of the lead sounds. You're kind of stuck within the patch you have, but it's still kind of fun to just kind of create that drone or that modal, you know, one note in the background. Now, in this particular drone, I have one patch that kind of has a liquidy kind of rattly sound that kind of comes in and out in the background that you could hear a lot at the beginning. It's kind of faded out now. But if you think ahead, you can create some really complex patches where the drone is evolving over time, and the lead sound itself is really just complementing that. You have to think a bit of the capabilities because, again, this is a bit limited from an editing perspective. For the next video, I'll take a little more time, and I also want to see what it's like to do the drones and then maybe go into a loop as well. So seeing how you can use the drone from a compositional perspective. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck with your own music.